Opening an email in haste could lead to maybe the biggest mistake of your career. Hackers and computer viruses target users who are careless and software that is unprotected. Jeremy Lesniak is the owner of Vermont Computing, joining us with some tips on how to avoid bad emails. Jeremy, thank you very much. For the vast majority of us, you think that maybe like your businesses, your company's firewall or spam wall is enough, and if you get an email in your system, then it's okay, but that's not necessarily the case?
Sure, no, it's absolutely not. This day and age, we think, computers have progressed so far and the software has gotten so much more advanced and all these wonderful features, but on the backside of that, we've got all these unscrupulous individuals working that much harder to get into your computers. They're always
trying to be. What is for a business that doesn't say deal in money or some? What is the benefit for someone to get a virus or a piece of spyware installed into a business's computer system?
Sure. Well, every business deals in money. They might not be selling online or something like that, but the vast majority of businesses are accessing funds, online banking, things like that. And a good number of these viruses are out there to target your bank account or perhaps your PayPal account, something like that. Or
just to gather information in some way, shape, or form. Is that you hear about like these phrases like viruses or spyware or malware, things like. What do these things do?
They can do anything from be annoying to destroy your information to perhaps steal your information and send it back somewhere else.
So at your computer, a piece of email, an email comes into your system. What are you looking for? What should send up warning flags for any person sitting at their station, at their workstation, that this is something they may not want to open?
Well, there's a few of them, and we have some images here.
Let's take a couple examples here.
Okay, so this first one here, one of the easiest things that people can do to avoid that infectious stuff even making it to their computer is to delete it from the web first. A lot of us have an email address that allows us to check our email online before we even download it to our computer. If you have email through Comcast or Charter or Fairpoint, SovereignNet, or most others, you have this option. And so this image here, this is an example of logging onto your online account, spotting that nasty stuff, if you can, before you even download it.
Before you even open it.
Right.
Are there instances where just by opening just by clicking and opening it before you click on anything else, does that automatically send something, can that launch something into your system?
It can, but it's a lot less risky if you're doing it on the web versus, say, within a program like Microsoft Outlook.
Okay. All right. So you open something. You open a piece of email. Again, once the email's open, what are you looking for?
You're looking for a few things. So here's an example. This is a forward.
Okay.
Okay. And it's got some kind of shady looking attachments here.
Right.
This one's talking about Middle East unrest and stuff like that. And as a forward, we all get forwards.
Sure.
And most of the time, the subject doesn't seem to make a lot of sense if it's something that's going to be nefarious.
Right.
It's going to come through. It's not going to sound like something that you might typically send to me.
Right.
And that's a great indicator.
We've all gotten the emails of, like, I'm in a small African nation, I have $10 million and I need it to get transferred. Everyone has seen that one.
Absolutely.
Right, or some variation of that one.
Yep.
So where is that coming from? For instance, where do those usually come from?
A lot of them are coming from Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
And they're just out there. It's a volume game.
Right.
Somebody somewhere is responding to that.
They're just throwing a lure out there and hoping one fish bites, basically.
Yep. They wouldn't send them if they didn't work.
They wouldn't send them if they didn't work. All right. So now you see something like this. Me personally, if I see something like this and it looks like kind of comes in from left field, that automatically sends up a bit of a warning flare that this is something I shouldn't really look in. But specifically, like, what about this? These attachments, you want to avoid, is clicking on one of these attachments, is that what launches the virus?
Usually, yeah.
Yeah.
It can be really risky. A lot of people will look at something like this and say, oh, it comes from somebody that I know, a friend of mine, a colleague, so it must be safe. But the way a lot of these viruses spread is they'll grab your address book, and they'll send that infected email out to people you know, so it looks like it comes from you.
So if you get one of these, real quick, we're out of time here, but if you get something from a friend that you're not sure about, should you respond to them first before opening it? Would that be the best way to approach this?
Rather than respond, write them a new email and say, did you mean to send me this?
Okay, so don't send it back. Don't reply off it.
Because they might just open it again.
Okay, so same thing. Okay, all right, Jeremy Lesniak from Vermont Community, thank you very much for a couple of the tips.
Thank you.
All right, we appreciate it. Coming up.